Hi, welcome to the Surf and Sew Homestead. My name's Marissa, and today we are going to do a late spring, almost summer. Is it summer yet? Is today summer? We're gonna do a garden tour. It's June 20th. It's garden tour day. All right, so I am going to take you around to our garden beds, let you see the growth, kind of go over a little bit of what we have planted. I did a pretty rough garden tour the beginning of the spring when we first got everything in, and this should kind of give a little bit more insight on all of that. All right, so this is our first garden bed. Baby romaine, which we've been using as a pick and eat. It's a cut and come again. If we let it go, it would form little baby heads, but we're not that patient, and we're not huge salad eaters, but when we have fresh lettuce from the garden, we definitely eat more salad. The 3 plants have been okay for us. We also had some arugula that I just recently pulled. It wasn't in the same bed, but so those are our 3 lettuce plants. They've been doing pretty well. Our peppers, these are all of our sweet peppers, so bells, and also for some lunchbox peppers for snacking. And then I interplanted onions all through here just to get some more in the ground. These are ones that we started from seed. We had a lot of onion sets that we put all around our garden, and these ones were the ones we started from seed. They're better storage onions, so hopefully they'll get some good long days of summer. The peppers seem a little bit more stunted than they were last year. They're definitely filling out, but they're not growing very tall. So we'll see what happens with that. Also kind of experimented because they ran out of our straw that we usually get. So we did cedar bark in a couple of our beds. And it's an experiment, and that's not what is stunting them, because some of our other peppers are doing better. I just don't know why the sweet peppers aren't doing that great. It definitely kept the pests down because it's that cedar smell, so there's less bugs in the bed. But definitely I think it's going to be an issue next year, because normally the straw decomposes and kind of composts in place, whereas cedar, the reason we make our garden beds out of cedar a lot of times is because it doesn't rot and break down as fast as other woods. So that might be a problem in here, but we're gonna see. We might do a mixture next year of the cedar and straw and kind of see how that goes, but I guess time will tell on that. All right, I'm gonna come over here. We're still dealing with our weed situation and our grass situation. We moved our beds around a lot and didn't really plan that well, so it's always a do as I say, not as I do when it comes to weed control. But we do have some weed cloth down, and so that is helping our little walkway areas not be so overrun. Okay, so this is our onion bed that we did with onion sets, and it's doing pretty well. I can see that there's some volunteer tomatoes in there that I need to go through and pick. But my husband also ran through all our beds with some wildflower seed packets, so that's going to be interesting. These are our shell peas, I think. I've never grown shell peas before, and right now they look like sugar peas, except I think actually these are starting to fill out a little bit more. So we'll see what happens when those get a little bit bigger. But right now they I don't know if the seeds got mixed up at Fedco, or if they're gonna just get really fat and then I'm gonna have awesome peas. So we'll see. That's kind of a experiment too, I guess. Not an intended one. These peas are supposed to be the same. So, yeah. I mean, I think they are like getting a little bit more pea potty looking and less sugar pea looking. Yeah. This is our carrot bed. So these are all thinned. There might be a couple in there that need to be, but it's looking lush. And I'm really happy with it. The girls are really excited. They were kind of sad that we didn't plant them as close together this year, because last year they got to eat a lot of the thinned carrots. But like, well, actually, this one could go. So this is where we're at right now. Not too bad. This is like the ultimate snack in the garden during not yet. I'm gonna sneak it. Awesome crunch. Sorry to chew. All right. All right, so this is the inside of that bed. And cucamelons right here. We had some cucumbers gifted to us from a neighbor. I don't know what kind they are yet. I'm gonna have to find out. But the big thing here that I wanted to point out is that these were planted in containers and then gifted to us. These I planted right in the soil about the same time. So folks, your cucumbers really, really, really don't like their roots to be disturbed. They like to be planted right into the ground. Don't worry, you don't need a head start on those guys. It's actually probably better that you don't get one. A lot of times if you put stuff out too early, that's when you deal with pest issues. And so we don't want to deal with pests if we don't have to. So all of these cucumbers here were planted at the same time as well. These are silver slicers. And then these right here are English cucumbers. And then these are our tomatoes. So these are all Amish paste tomatoes, except down on the end I have 2 cherry tomatoes. So we are pretty much just planning on a massive canning summer of tomato everything. So my goals are 4 to 5 batches of salsa, at least 1 batch of cocktail sauce, and then whatever else I can make, pasta and pizza sauce. So marinara and pizza sauce. I need to get some more potatoes into this box or this bag. I don't know. I was late on potatoes. These potatoes need to be hilled up. We've got a lot of work to do. It's been kind of a couple interesting weeks. These are our Kentucky Wonder pole beans. And then I've got a couple more bags with Amish paste tomatoes in them. And then so baby spinach, which appears to be bolting, which is weird because it hasn't been that hot, but it is definitely flowering. This is our hardneck garlic is here. And then we harvested our scapes last week, except this one. So I did catch it before it uncurled, but you usually want to catch them when they're kind of looking like this still. So this is in the process of uncurling. But that will come inside. They smell and taste like garlic. You can use them in pesto. I made a pesto, and then I also put it in salads. These are our sugar snap peas, which have been raided today already by the kids for garden snacks. There's a couple left in there. And then also today we thinned out our corn and planted our green beans in with it. So we are going to do Three Sisters on this bed. So it's like 6 inches high, which is the recommended time to put the green beans in. So we did the thinning and the green beans at the same time. And then once the green beans sprout, we'll put in some squash. So the Three Sisters planting method, corn is a heavy feeder and it feeds heavy on nitrogen. And the reason that you can plant the green beans in with it is that they will go up the corn stalk like it's a pole, and green beans put nitrogen back into the soil. So that will help feed the corn, especially since ours are planted fairly close together because these beds are only 2 feet long. I'm kind of, again, experimenting, not totally following the rules, but close enough, I think. And again, we'll see what works. What works for me might not work for you. What works for you might not work for me. And this is an experiment I had to do for myself, because I kind of had to fight to get corn into our garden. It does take up a lot of space for not always that much yield, so we'll see how it does. But that was the way that I could get it into our garden this year, was by also planting green beans in this box. And then you plant the squash because the leaves are big, it covers up the soil, it helps keep the soil moist, and it helps keep your plants from drying out. So that's another one of our big experiment boxes. This is our pepper box. This is all hot peppers. There are, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 different kinds of peppers in this bed, all hot. I have some regular jalapenos, some black jalapenos, Baron poblanos, and a really cool purple pepper, the Buena Mulata. I think those are right here. They are all labeled, so we will know what they are eventually. We're back to Weed Central in these beds along the wall. All the work we did kind of was for naught, but still looking okay around these 2 tomatoes. These are more Amish paste tomatoes, and they're kind of in an experimental spot. I'm a little nervous because when I was digging that area, I think I found a hornworm like pupa casing. So we'll see if these ones die, but perhaps they will be our sacrificial tomato plants and then they won't bother anything else. These are our blueberries. Of course, neighbor is mowing. This almost always happens whenever I film a video, so that's awesome. These are cotton candy blueberries, and we're getting a few more than we did in previous years, but I don't know how well that's gonna go. Raspberries, need to trim off this dead stalk, but I'm gonna get my shadow out of there. Some raspberry love, they're coming. And even on this guy, starting to see some, so hopefully those will pop up a little bit more. And our apple tree has a pretend snake in it that keeps scaring the bejesus out of me. But apples. So we'll see how these go this year. We do have like a weird little rust issue on this tree that we are gonna need to treat this year, I think. So it's probably gonna be neem oil, but we'll see. We got decent apples from it last year, and we need to clean out the bottom of it. It's hurting. Our crabapple tree did not flower this year. and it probably won't. It flowers every other year. And so there's our backyard garden. Things are starting to fill in, and I'm excited for some hefty harvests. So thanks for joining me on a little garden tour in our backyard at the Surf and Sew Homestead. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time.